All right, everybody. We've been putting two pieces of the puzzle out there, right? We put supply out there, we put demand out there. Now we got to put them together. We got to show what's really going to happen with our economic concepts when we put them together. So, an analogy that Jacob Clifford, who I use a lot, I think he's awesome. He puts this out there very simply, right? Think of scissors, right? You must use two blades of the scissors for the scissors to work, right? One blade, not as effective. Two blades, they work together and they get the job done. That's exactly what we're talking about here, right? We're talking about two blades of scissors. They must work together. Supply and demand. And for us to completely understand what's going on, we've got to understand both concepts. And those concepts, putting them together, helps us to make the bigger picture of what's truly going on in economics. So we have the basics, right? We have the demand, we have the supply. We've been going through them. We did a lot more demand. Supply was pretty much just the same thing. So you're just kind of picking up and rolling with it. So let's take a look now at what we're talking about. Supply and demand are put together to determine equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity, right? And this is the most important part, all right? This is what we have to truly start to put together. So if you look on the left, right, we have our demand schedule, okay? Demand schedule is following this D line right here, right? This D demand schedule, all right? At $5, we're producing 10. At $4, we're producing 20. At 3, we're producing 30. At 2, we're producing 50. And at 1, we're producing 80, right? That's our demand. That's what we're talking about. Now, when we talk about supply, right? At 5, we're producing 50. Notice where we are. We're all the way over here, right? At 4, we're producing 40. And we're coming back, right? We're coming back against the demand line. All right, so that's our supply. We're using that supply schedule to figure that out. All right, so if they give you a supply schedule and a demand schedule, you should be able to very simply graph the supply and demand of what is going on. All right, that is telling you now you have a quiz tomorrow. Be prepared for that. You better be able to graph out a supply and demand schedules. All right, now next, the supply and demand are put together. We have to figure out the equilibrium. So notice, where do they cross? They cross at 3 and 30. All right, that is your equilibrium. Right, where this point comes in, where this junction comes in, that is our equilibrium. So if I were to say to you, I wonder, all right, so if you start to look at it, right, and I say to you, all right, find the equilibrium, you have to find that cross piece, right? That cross right there is our equilibrium, all right? I don't know why it's not showing up on yours. Did I jump too far ahead? Yep, there we go. Look at that. Stupid me. I'm drawing on the one before. Sorry about that. Let me jump up. Right? So that's our equilibrium. All right? 30 and 30. Now, you could just say, "Hey, I'm going to look for the two sides." All right? You can do that. But this equilibrium on this graph is going to show us so much more than just 30 and 30. All right? It's going to show us our surplus numbers. All right. Eventually, we'll start to talk about what happens over here. All right. So it is very important not only that you know how to graph the supply and demand, but that you can find the equilibrium price, because now we're going to start building. All right. This takes us into the next ideas of what happens. So now at $4, there is a disequilibrium, right? There's a disequilibrium. The quantity demanded is less than the quantity supplied. Okay, so at $4, take notice, at $4, this one up here is our demand. This one down here, that's our supply at $4, right? We have a problem, all right? We have an issue. At $4, we're looking at 20 demand schedule. At $4, we're looking at 40 supply schedule, all right? How much is the surplus at 40 or at $4, right? It is 20. There's a 20 supply change, all right? A surplus. All right, understand that concept, because you need to get it. If I said to you on a quiz tomorrow, "Hey, if I give you this chart," and I say, "Okay, what is the surplus?" The quantity demanded is less than the quantity supplied. All right, Know this formula. All right? Know this. All right? Don't be surprised if I don't say to you, what is the surplus formula? Quantity to demand is less than the quantity supplied. Know that. This is huge, right? Ginormous, because you have to figure that out. All right. And it's 20. All right. The answer is 20. Why? Because the quantity demanded, right, is less than the quantity supplied. 40, 20, and 40. All right. Should, I hope, make complete sense. All right. When you're looking at it on this framework, right? The quantity demanded at $4 is right here. The quantity supplied at $4 is right here, right? There is our 20. Oops, it's not going to let me write because I'm trying to write so small. All right, there is our 20. All right, that's our surplus. That little diggy right there, that little guy, right? And there was two of you in class the other day on Catch Up and Connect, and I emailed you trying to help my 6-year-old with her math and try and talk about microeconomics at the same time. My brain was just not doing it. So hopefully you got my email. I know one of you did. I hope the other one did. And you see where the difference in this is, that surplus, right? All right. So make sure you have that ability to do that. All right. I may ask you to graph where the surplus is. All right. That's a big part of this. You need to know it. All right. So next, we're almost done. We only have a couple more to go. All right, at $2, there is also a disequilibrium. The quantity demanded is greater than the quantity supplied. All right, so let's look at $2, right? The demand is 50. All right, so we're going all the way over and down, right? There's our demand, 50, okay? The quantity supplied at $2 is 20, right? $2 is 20 right here, right? Here's our shortage, right? There's our shortage, 30. 20 minus 50, or 50 minus 20 is 30. Again, know this. Know that its quantity demanded is greater than quantity supplied. And here's our shortage. All right, that little triangle area is our shortage. All right, make sure that you understand that. Please ask questions if you don't. I will be in Catch Up and Connect. All right, I'm online as well, but make sure you understand that. All right, that here it is. They're giving you the demand and the supply schedule. 20 or $2, it's 50. At $2, it's 20. That means here's our equilibrium. Look where we are. We're running low. All right. That means we have a shortage. If we're running high, that means we have a surplus. All right. Make sure you understand that. All right. Now, how much is the shortage if the price is $1? Right. So let me jump over. All right. We're at $1. Okay. So when you look at it, my demand is $1.80. All right. That's a pretty good demand out there, right? Sitting all the way out there by itself, $1.80. My supply, $1.10, is here. So look, that's our difference, right? 10 minus, or 80 minus 10 is 70. That is and there's our shortage, right? That whole section, that's our shortage. That's where we're lacking. All right. The free market system automatically pushes the price towards equilibrium, right? What that means is this: when there's a surplus, producers will lower prices to bring it back down closer. When there is a shortage, producers will raise prices to bring it back up. So, for instance, if you think about it, let's just think for a moment. If Apple produces iPhones, right, and they produce a billion of them, okay, there is a massive amount of them, all right. They're going to need to figure out a way to take care of how to sell them. Okay, so they have to adjust their prices. All right. So when there's a surplus, when they're looking at it and they're like, all right, we have stockpiled a billion cell phones and nobody's buying them. What do we have to do? Well, we better make them less expensive so that more people would buy them. So let's just say, for instance, they were selling iPhones at $5 a piece, and everybody's like, I'm not buying an iPhone for $5 a piece. I'm kind of thinking like in the $3 range. Well, guess what? They will keep dropping the price until the demand and the supply meet. All right. Same thing when there's a shortage. All right. If I don't have enough to go out to market, if I don't have enough iPhones to put out there, right? Let's say I'm charging $1 for iPhones and I've got lines around the corner. Well, guess what? I've got to slow down how many people are buying the iPhones so that I can keep up with the demand. I better raise my prices. All right. So then it gets to this point. Now, is there a perfect way to figure that out? Not really. All right, producers will keep testing the markets and trying things out until they figure out where to put it. But that's how you come up with the basics of supply and demand. We're going to get a lot bigger into this, but that's the basics of supply and demand. All right, make sure on tomorrow's quiz you know how to do this. All right, homework tonight is going to be how to do this. You're going to have to practice it. We come into class tomorrow, we'll go over it again. But I'm telling you now, this will be on your quiz. All right, if you have questions, hit me up and I'll talk to you all later.